Welcome to Live with Cody and Satori, the paranormal couple. The show will be starting shortly. Please like, subscribe, and comment. Now please welcome the paranormal couple, Cody and Satori.
Oh, hold on a minute. Hold on. There we are. It wouldn't be a show with us if we didn't have already one slip up in the beginning. Hello, everybody. I'm see the numbers starting to grow, so people knew we were going live tonight, thankfully.
Yeah, this is like a surprise live stream.
I know. Honestly, it's because our editing schedule with videos has gotten so messed up. And also now we have Thanksgiving on Thursday and all this stuff. So we just decided to let us catch up with videos. We'll just go live tonight. And then after Thanksgiving, I think we're going to start going back to our normal posting schedule.
Yes, so we've had a couple mishaps, which you'll find out about in the upcoming videos. So we had some technical difficulties at our last filming when we were filming a investigation, and that kind of set us back a little bit as far as editing goes. So that's why there's no regular upload tonight. So we thought we would just go live. This isn't our usual live show that we usually do with the segments and everything. We're just kind of going to do a question and answer, and everyone is more than welcome to ask whatever they want. It can be about any topic, whatever you want, and we'll try to answer it. We're also going to be bringing on some friends that are going to, help us out. You may have some questions for them as well,
or distract us the whole time.
It's going to be fun.
It's going to be us goofing off for a little while, so enjoy it.
Yeah. So I will say, and this was kind of brought up earlier, we have a big group chat with all of our friends, and it's Thanksgiving week, right? So Thanksgiving's on Thursday, and one memory I have from the Conjuring House is we used to have like these get-togethers around Thanksgiving and Christmas time, kind of like a Friendsgiving. You know what I mean? And we'd all hang out and have a great time, and so we're kind of doing that this year, but virtually, which is going to be fun. So that's kind of a big hint on who we're going to be bringing on here in a second. The screen is definitely going to fill up with some fun faces, and I mean fun faces. Wait till see what you're talking about. So if you have a question, make sure you leave it in the comments. If we don't answer it right away, don't get upset. Just be patient, because we're going to put a little star next to it. And that kind of puts it in its own separate list. And we'll just get to it when we get to it. So there we go. They're already getting added in.
Alan Newsom says, y'all can replace any missing part of an investigation with drawings, like a cartoon report. We should just act them out. Be like, I swear, this is what happened.
This is what happened.
We'll have to do that. But do we want to jump right in with all the goofy people?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah? But first, let's say thank you.
Thank you so much, Sarah. I appreciate that.
What are you thankful for this year? All right, we'll save that for
everybody. That'll be the first question.
All right. Also, I'll put a star next to that and we'll save it.
Okay.
All right. So let's bring them all on. First up,
you know her, you love her, the brains behind everything, Erin Bush.
Brains? That's scary. If I'm the brains, y'all are in trouble for sure.
Everyone on track. We all exist successfully because Erin's here. So that's a good way to put it.
Next up.
You want to do this one?
Sure. We got Ken.
I'm just here for a card reading.
We love him. Ken is the head of RISEUP. We love him.
We love
Ken.
Yeah, shucks.
Now, okay, you're pointing to who's next? Yeah. All right. You love him. That's just what I'm going to say for everybody. We love them all dearly. One of our best friends from the TAPS home team, investigator Steve Mills.
There we go. Steve.
Hey.
Steve's head.
What's up? That is Steve's actual head right there.
For next one, I think you know what we're going to say. You know him. You love him. Former owners of the famous Conjuring House, the Arnold Estate, the farm on Round Top Road, Jen and Corey Heinzen.
Yay!
From a galaxy far, far away.
And I have to say,
The other one went missing.
the other one, which I was really surprised to see her face, disappeared. Oh,
Here she is.
oh,
She's back.
All right, we're gonna bring her in. Ready?
we love her. TikTok sensation, famous gal, Madison Heinzen.
Yay, Maddie.
Oh, she's muted.
What a surprise! Madison's muted.
She's
Oh, hello everyone.
There you are. There you are.
Wi-Fi issues.
Oh, okay. It's fine. We'll only cry every time you disappear. It's okay. Don't worry about it. But
So,
thank
so
you
this
all.
is our guest list for tonight. So far, there might be one or two more. We'll see.
And
as
there's
time
so
goes
many
on.
of us, so it's going to be an absolute like crazy fest of us trying to figure out how we're all going to talk, how we're all not going to goof off too much that we're going to forget the entire point of this live stream. But we'll
Brendan
do our
Monk.
best. Hi, Brendan. Oh my gosh,
All the way from
legends.
Australia.
Man,
What's
I
up,
should have
guy?
used that.
Wow, legends.
Really?
Yeah, I know. Sorry, guys. I suck. I didn't know a good intro. I just said I love you all. But, okay.
Can you see your
Love it.
See? All right. So we're going to do question and answer tonight. So for anybody just now joining us, feel free to drop any questions you have. We already have quite a few.
We have quite a few. We're going to start in just a second.
Chris.
So feel free to leave them in the comments. And again, don't get upset if we don't answer them right away. We're going to kind of answer them in order that they come in. So it might take a little while to get to your question. So just be patient. So, and you can address anybody. If not, we're just all gonna jump in. Whoever feels like they should say something. But don't be shy. Ask whatever you want. That's why we're here. We don't do this too often. We've kind of, we kind of stayed quiet for the most part when it comes to some topics. But tonight's your night. Ask whatever you want, and we'll do our best to answer it.
If you have anything you have specifically for someone, just put their name at the beginning of your question. So like put one of our names if you have a question for somebody specific. Okay.
All right, so we'll start with Sarah because she was very gracious and sent a donation here. So what are you thankful for this year?
Who are we going to start first, or are we going to have them start first?
Anybody can
Me?
start.
I'm thankful for all my friends, which I don't have many, but when I do have friends, they're like family, and some of them are sitting right here. So I'm thankful for all my friends.
Yeah, no, I agree. I'm thankful that everyone has kind of stuck together. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
that's really good. So
During all of this, we can say that we all successfully stuck together through everything. Like through everything. I don't know how we all did. Like there were times where I was like, man, how are we all like pushing through this together on the same track?
Well, I don't know if we could have done it without everybody either.
No, I would have lost my mind months
Yeah.
ago.
Yeah. So
Months
Jen
ago.
wants to say something.
Yeah, Jen.
Oh no, I'm just moving my hand. Sorry.
Your hand.
You were
My
raising
bad.
her
My bad.
Well, you go next. You accidentally made yourselves go next.
I'm shooting.
Yes,
Yeah.
Jen, you have a question.
I guess he's thankful for me. Is
I'm
what-
thankful for family.
Oh.
Aw, that's so sweet.
I'm thankful for health. That we're all healthy in here.
That's a good response. I like that.
That's great.
All right,
All right,
who's
who wants to
next?
go next?
Just put somebody up on the table.
All right, here we go.
Hey,
Hey, she got the big head. I'm thankful for my girls and my friends that are here as well. I enjoy every minute I get to spend with them. I do. Great people.
Okay, next.
Erin.
Same. I don't know how we all have gotten through this without having a single argument, disagreement. It's been a hell of a year for me on a couple different levels. So to have people like y'all on the screen and then several others that aren't here tonight, I'm very thankful for that as well. So friends and family for sure.
Good answer.
Madison.
I'd say probably very thankful for family and friends as well. It's been a tough year for everyone, so having the support with one another, especially with the pair of families, has been amazing. So, yes, that's what I'm thankful for this year.
Love
She's
it.
so sweet.
I know, right?
I loved her.
And last but not least, Asta.
Hey, thankful for my family, for our grandkids, especially our new granddaughter. Just turned 7 months. Beautiful. And I am mostly thankful that all of you came out on the other side of something that was difficult for you. And, the circle is tight, and that's the way it should be. So thankful for that for all of you guys.
Oh, thank you. I mean, honestly, we all kind of had the same answer there. We were all like friends, family, and that we're all still here. That's.
Well, Steve took my answer, so.
Oh, that was a good answer.
Thank you to Leah.
Thank you, Leah.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, Joseph.
Joseph, thank you very much. We appreciate it. You
And
guys don't have to do that. Thank you. And Brendan, thank you very much. We appreciate it.
Okay,
It's Australian money. It's Australian money. It's only worth $1.50. So.
All right, we'll jump in.
Nigel and Deb, hey guys, unfortunately we have to work, but could you answer a question for us anyway, and we'll watch later. Have you ever communicated with a spirit who didn't know they had passed?
And that question should go for everybody. For us, we did communicate with a spirit once, actually at the house.
Yeah.
And they said they thought they were asking why we were there. And I remember we were like, what do you mean? Why are we here? It's, it's the house. And we described it. They're like, no, I just went outside for a minute and I came back and you all are in my house. And I was like, you realize you're passed away, right? And they said, no, you must be the ghost. And we kind of had that back and forth until we described it. So we did one time, but that kind of makes us think that the other side may not be too different.
Yeah, and after we explained what was going on, we never really talked to him again after that.
We never really talked to him again, which was interesting. How about everybody else? Anybody get activity that made you think of that?
I think most of, spirits that have come through EVP or everything like that have a certain awareness of where they are. That's just my experience. I don't know if I've run into a lot that were like, where am I or anything. So that's kind of encouraging, actually, that there's an awareness. They come in visitation, and they're in a better place.
Yeah.
So that's my experience with it.
Yeah. Anybody else? Anybody talk to a spirit they thought, they didn't know they were dead? Or some people theorize that there's spirits that you can talk to that aren't actually spirits, and it's like people from different time periods, which is interesting.
Yeah.
Like I've never experienced that though.
Time slips and stuff like that. That was also a big thing at the house, was time slips and stuff like that. And that dates back all the way to the parents, parents living there, having time slips and the roles being switched from spirits to living people.
Did any of you guys have like time slips or anything like that? Yeah.
Investigating, we did, yeah. We had time slips, actual cameras, which was crazy.
Are you willing to share that story a little bit? Okay.
No.
Story, I don't know.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my God.
Oh, put it back on.
Oh. No, we used to, the DVR system, we used to get like just always the middle bedroom would always have a different timestamp than all the other cameras.
Yeah.
And we went through 4 systems.
Yeah.
And it would always happen just in the middle bedroom.
There was one time I was reviewing evidence and it skipped back to it was something in the 1970s, but it wasn't, it was like later, 75 or 6. It was weird. Like the actual date on it changed.
But that's equipment. That could be an equipment thing. So, but it's just strange.
No,
I think it was hard to keep time in the house. Like you would forget what day it was. If you were there for a couple weeks at a time, you didn't know what time it was sometimes, or
right
what day it was. Sometimes time would seem to go really fast. Sometimes it would seem to go really slow.
No, that's true. That's true. But I've heard experiences of some people at the house when we used to all work there. Some people would come in and say that they saw rearranged furniture and stuff that wasn't there. So that was really interesting. But I never experienced that.
Yeah.
I didn't either. Nope, I didn't either.
All right, we have quite the list growing.
Oh my gosh, we have so many questions. Sorry, guys.
Over here. What is your favorite Thanksgiving memory with your family and with each other?
Or holiday. I might just throw holiday in there because we did Christmas parties and stuff too.
Yeah, I know. Is there a favorite Thanksgiving or Christmas memory from the house? How about that?
Oh my god.
We're editing your question.
There's a lot of memories. I'm trying to think. There were so many. There are so many.
Um,
Well, last year's Christmas, that helicopter blinky flying thing, knocking drinks over and bumping into people, and that was all like
That was
Oh
fun.
that was
my
pretty funny.
gosh. Yeah. And when we all did like the truth or dare thing. And
that
like
was why we sent Steve upstairs into the closet, didn't we?
I think
Oh yeah, yeah.
Oh yes, Satori had to walk the basement in the dark with no lights. I remember that.
no light,
No
like I'm
flashlight,
bumping
nothing.
into things.
Yeah.
That was bad.
Yeah.
But I mean, just all around, like lighting the fire and enjoying food and
Yeah.
hanging out without drama. The times without any drama.
I must have had at least 3 or 4 surprise birthday parties there, and rebirthday parties.
Oh my gosh, Cody's birthday parties were the best.
Come on, Maddie with the balloon.
Maddie, do
I
you
wish
have
we
that?
could send that video in.
I know. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, do we have that video still?
Oh yeah.
I have no idea where, but
Actually, I can.
I wonder where. If you find it, send it to us because I don't know where it is. But that was Cody's 9th rebirthday, and it was bad. It was so.
It was
bad.
fun.
It was fun. It was fun, but like I don't remember like some of it because it was just so random. Like some of the things happening.
Like Jacob's water bottle.
Oh my! Every time he dropped the water bottle.
No, that was fun.
Every time. Having a conversation with him, and like 5 times he drops the water bottle in between the conversation.
Oops.
That was so funny. That was so funny. Anybody else have any memories to share though, or any fun memories?
Doesn't have to be about a holiday.
I think it's
Good.
an ongoing one with me where we spend Christmas Eve with our kids and then Christmas morning go back there to watch their kids open their gifts. And then Christmas night, I usually have everybody over here, family, friends, whoever wants to come down. So that's the time I really enjoy when, I'm sitting there and, when I've had enough, I can just pass out in my recliner and everybody just steps over me. So those are the best of times right there.
Oh, that's great.
Definitely.
Nice.
That's
Love it.
great.
I remember going out with Aaron last Christmas and collecting pine cones and stuff.
Yeah, we pulled everything. Abigail told you guys what they use for decorations, so we went out all over the property and
collected
climbed
pine
on
and
each other trying to cut stuff down. And
pine cones. Oh my gosh. Yeah, we just had a bunch of it. I bet some of it's still in there, just hanging.
Yeah.
yeah, probably on the walls, probably still there. Yeah.
Thanks for the question, Carrie. All right, moving on. Let's see.
Oh.
How'd you find out?
Well, Steve and I held hands one day.
Yeah,
It's a long
Nice and tight.
story.
yeah.
Yeah, long story.
Accident. I mean, it's as far as we knew, it started when we first met. But thinking on it now, we both probably did some weird things before that. When we came together, it made some weird stuff happen, a little more accelerated. But the first day we met is when we kind of started to realize about it. And then it took a couple months after that, I think, before we started realizing it was us and we could do something weird. I will say one of the first people to find out about it was Corey. But we didn't also admit it to Corey. When we first went to the Conjuring house, when they first bought it.
Just bought the house.
They just bought
this
it.
is 2019.
I think
Yeah.
so. And Corey was like, come over. I'll give you guys a tour of the house. We're like, super cool. And Bill was there at the time. And we show up and we start going up the back staircase. And all of a sudden you start hearing stuff going up the stairs with us. And Corey turns around. He's like, you hear that? We're like, what? That's weird. That's
That's
What do
like
you mean?
with people.
We're like, this is not a conversation you can just start with someone. And then we started to, over time, tell people more.
Yeah. I mean, Ken, I think was next.
No, Steve was next.
Steve was next. then
Steve was
Ken.
next on a
Yeah.
TAPS case. And then it was Ken, I think, because
Yeah,
we were
you
like,
were holding out on me for a while.
because we thought you obviously weren't going to believe that. How crazy is that? And then Erin found out as she went along. Welcome to the team. We all talk to dead people and do weird things.
Yeah.
And Madison was early on too. Madison was early on.
Yeah, it had to have been.
With the Heinzens.
Had to have been. It's kind of become
the
a
whole
blur.
Heinzens. The whole Heinzen clan.
Oh,
I think.
Whole Heinzen
Whole
clan.
Heinzen clan.
All right. Let's see here. Barbara.
Why don't you, Cody, and your dad use Spirit Box? We're starting to experiment with it more. My dad doesn't use Spirit Box because TAPS is very much based off of like equipment that has other uses. You know, it's more, I guess, data based. And a Spirit Box is something where it's not really, it's still being experimented with as a tool. So, you know, TAPS and my dad doesn't really rely on it much. But we're starting to work more with like that method, that Estes method and things like that.
I think the Estes method is probably the best way to use a Spirit Box because you're cutting out a lot of the, like the person doesn't know what the question is. So you're cutting out a lot of the variables of your brain trying to make sense of whatever you're hearing. So, and we had a great Estes session this last location that we just went to, and that was and Rolling Hills Asylum that that's up on YouTube. Weird. It's up on this channel. We had a great. She was in the morgue freezer area and had a great Estes session, and so I think that's great. And Madison, geez, she's had countless.
Madison's TikTok lives were like, I think Spirit Box related a lot too.
Yeah, I mean, she had a million things to do with the Spirit Box.
Did you get some like crazy stuff at the house with Spirit Box?
Yeah, and even stuff involving you guys. I think one night I had pulled you guys in a live stream because they were talking about you guys when you were gone. So that was pretty cool.
I remember that middle room in the basement.
Yeah, I think it was about you. And then everybody's like, is Cody okay? Is Cody okay? And then I'm like, yeah, Cody's okay. And they're like, how do you know? I'm like, because I'm with him.
I got a question for you. When you're using Spirit Box, are you getting more and more away from the channel scanning and into like the filtering type Spirit Boxes, like Echo Vox, things like that?
We just use the scanning.
Yeah, I primarily use the old Radio Shack hack box, but on events, public events, we've used Echo Vox a few times, and we've had some interesting results with that. But still, I think, you know, no matter what you're using, you should be using the Estes method with some sort of headphones.
What do you guys use? Madison Hines and I.
And the rest of us.
Yeah, the Heinzen clan. What do you use?
We like to use Hack Shacks as well. And then plus we use a lot of Jay Prather's IDC devices.
Yeah, those are cool.
Okay. Yeah, I haven't used many different things. Like I haven't spanned out very much.
Yeah, we're still fairly new to the whole Spirit Box game.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about it, but after the last investigation we just did, I'm starting to think maybe there's a little more to it. But
it's like learning a new language. Your ears have to get used to it.
It is. And our camera broke the first time we did this last location. Our camera just completely stopped. And then the SD card got corrupted. So we're like, oh my God, because we got amazing activity with that camera and during the Estes method. So we went back, got a new SD card. I'm doing Estes. Apparently we were getting stuff. And all of a sudden, the last thing I said was, how about this? And all of a sudden the camera stopped again. And then the SD card got corrupted. So I'm starting to think maybe there was something messing with us. Maybe.
That's annoying.
It is annoying. I cried.
The spirit from the Conjuring House that used the alphabet to communicate.
What do you think made this possible? You're not going to believe this one. So I think Cody and I do this weird thing, long story short. But I don't know how that's happening, but it seems like they're hitting some sort of barrier to communicate. That's what they've described it as.
Yeah. I as far as what made it possible, I have no idea. I don't think it's just Satori and I think, you know, anybody can probably, you know, do what we do if you have the right type of connection, you know. So, and that's something we're experimenting with.
Okay, next one.
All right.
Let's get to one for everybody.
Steve, you want to take this one?
How did they
Pretty-
go?
Pretty quiet.
Yeah.
Weird. It's not, it depends on the location. Sometimes things happen, sometimes don't.
Witch Museum in Salem.
The Witch Museum in Salem. That was interesting.
Everybody was
Movie
looking around like checking under
Movie
the-
dates can be weird.
What's one place you'd like to go back to and investigate again? All right, somebody else take this one. For start, at
Somebody
least.
start.
I can
Sterling
tell you
Hill
where
Mine.
Logo- Oh, sorry, Steve. Say it again.
Sterling Hill Mine in New Jersey.
I love Sterling Hill Mine.
Place is awesome.
You
Yeah.
gotta get all of us into Sterling Hill Mine and do
Yeah.
that one.
Not me. You won't. Nope.
Well,
I'll
there's
wait
a
for you up
museum
there.
there. You don't have to do the mines. There's more than just the mines there. There's a museum. There's all sorts of stuff there.
If it's above ground, I'm in. If it's underneath, I'm out.
Yeah, I like it. It's like you walk in, so it doesn't feel like necessarily you're underground.
Yeah, I mean, you're not really underground. You're under a mountain. Does
Either
that
way.
count?
There's a huge difference there.
Yeah,
Yeah, it is a huge difference.
you're not
technically.
underground. You're still ground level. You're just going in a mountain.
It just gets a little tighter.
It's like a car tunnel.
Yeah, no. I'm good. I'm a sissy. We know this. This is nothing new to anybody on this screen.
Hey, you're from Maine. Don't make fun of the way Cody talks. You guys talk about that too.
I didn't make fun of Ka.
Cads.
Oh, jeez.
I don't know where I'd go back.
I'd go to Sterling, Illinois.
Yeah. Well, I know. I mean, I'd like to check out Rolling Hills again. That was cool. I mean, that was just one of the more recent places we've been to.
There's a place I'd like to go back to, but I'm not allowed to right now.
Oh,
yeah, I know. There's a place we'd all like to go back to.
none of us are allowed to.
Yeah.
I'd like to go to Penhurst again. I've only been once, and it was
We've never
ruined by 0-degree weather.
I want to go. We all
never
need to
been
go.
It's tough to say. I think that if so many places I like to go back to, but one no one's ever heard of except some of you guys. Governor Bradford Mansion here in Bristol, Rhode Island, had a couple of the most unbelievable experiences that I've ever had in that place. I'd love to go back sometime.
Absolutely. I would love to see that. I don't think we've ever been either.
No, we haven't. Ken's
No.
talked about it, but
We
I
need to
haven't.
go.
Yeah.
We need to go.
Someday.
Well, if they didn't charge us like $2,400 for 2 nights stay, then we'd think about it. But
Right.
Yeah.
Are we talking about the same place?
No, yeah. All these places kind of like blend together. It's hard for me to keep track of all the places there are.
Yeah. I mean, that we visited. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. They kind of become a blur after a while.
Did Aaron answer?
I mean, I've only done 2, so I mean,
Oh,
you know,
true.
that's the
She's making me-
GRCC in Maine, and then the Masonic Temple with you guys. I mean, but the GRCC, that place is nuts. So I'll go back.
That is nuts. That place. As soon as you said that you were there and you got crazy activity, I was so jealous. Like I
That
was
was
mad.
nuts.
I was mad at you guys for a good
It was
couple
good.
hours.
It was active. It was very active. It was
It was
active
great.
for a long period of time, too.
Did you hear the dragging and banging noises that sounded like it was somebody, like a living person? in
Oh
there?
yeah, and the walking on the track and the tapping. There was this tapping next to us that wasn't happening when the first 2 sessions we were in there, and then the last time we were in there, it was just.
All over the place.
And you'd get up and walk. Jen would walk up to it. It would stop. She'd come back. It'd start back up. It was crazy. They moved
I
a
love-
basketball off that height. Yeah, it was. It was
Why
nuts.
does
It was fun.
stuff not happen that crazy when we're there?
It's, oh my God. Stuff crazy.
Like crazy stuff did happen, but we didn't see anything move.
Oh.
They had fresh meat in me, I guess. Maybe.
I think they were on to you guys though, because it's something about people that deal with the metaphysical side of things. Like,
You could.
They sniffed them out before
yeah,
before they
the
got
minute they walk into a room and you guys are kind of like,
Yeah,
they're on to us.
right. They know
They
we're
probably
here.
got bored. They're like, we don't want to play that way. We're gonna do this instead. Some
What about
newbie.
you, Maddie, where would you go? Where would you go back to?
yeah, another $1.50 from Brandon.
maybe the SK Pierce mansion, just because I haven't been in a while, and I really did enjoy it when I went.
We love
I haven't been a
SK.
lot of places though, so I have a lot on my bucket list. But so I guess
She has
going off of the question, where would everyone like to investigate that they haven't been for? If I'm allowed to ask that.
Yeah.
You go first. No, you go first. You ask the question. You go first.
I'd say USS Salem, just because that is close, and I still have yet to go.
Yeah.
Really?
I know. I keep
Get
telling
her
you that I
in.
can, and I have not gone. So hopefully someday.
Yeah. It's
What do you
just
think? Time to call Dawn, guys, or what?
We'll have to.
Field
Yeah.
trip.
It's going to be cold at this time of year. I'm not even sure if they're open. That's like a freezer in that place, Madison.
Oh, it's cold in the summer.
We went. I remember RISEUP went one time in the winter, and it was freezing cold. You could
True.
see your
Yeah.
breath. Yeah, it was cold.
But hey, you know,
Fun.
if it's open, we can do it. Like, bundle up.
Yeah, no, that's fun.
We'll check.
There you snowsuits.
Who's next? Who's next on the answer list for that?
Oh,
Prevalia,
Yeah, we.
oh.
Where?
Prevalia Island.
Oh,
Any island that's made of human ash, count me in.
right.
I'm sure there's not many. So yeah, I would.
Let's
That
hope
would
not.
be intense. That would, like, I know, right? That would be intense. Jen, do you have an answer? Is it the same?
The same, or Dracula's Castle. I think would be pretty cool too. I'd probably actually do Dracula's Castle before I did Prevalia Island. I would.
Thought I knew you.
We clearly don't have the connection where we can tap, so we're not connected.
Oh, don't do that. Don't do that.
Damn, I'm always like about the first
Chris,
what
Chris
we did. Can we
Blanchett,
do this? Can we do it?
Chris Blanchett went there when he was in college,
Really?
Yeah.
like an archaeological dig. Chris, the guy who does our research, you guys know him.
Mm-hmm.
But he
Yeah.
went there in college on a dig. That's what he studied,
Cool.
archaeology. It's like Dracula's castle, which makes him like a lot cooler than we are, you know.
That is cool.
He is a lot cooler than we are. He is. My answer would be I want to go investigate some of the Tudor era castles and try to talk to, like, you know, older royals and stuff. I'm sure there would be a language barrier, but I would totally try to do it. Also, I'd like to go places where there are mysteries and try to solve them. Like, take us to Roanoke, or like take us to like somewhere where there was a great mystery, and we'll be like, the bodies are right here, and then be done and
That'd be
disappear. That would be
Or the
it.
Oak
Red and
Island.
Velma.
So those guys can stop tearing up their land. Be like, y'all, it's over here.
True,
Stop.
Oak Island.
I wonder if we could. Like, I would totally go and try it. Just like show up, do it, and then like put a hood up and just disappear, like into the woods. You never see me again. Like, that would be awesome.
As far as
Love
the
it.
states go, I always wanted to visit Alcatraz, and then
Mm.
out of the country, I know Steve wanted to visit Alcatraz as well. And then out of the country would be like Rome, the Colosseum, or an Irish castle, one of those.
Yeah, but I
Cool
feel like it
things.
would be very hard for us to communicate with somebody that's like in Rome because they wouldn't speak English, obviously.
Yeah, well, to be honest, I don't even care if we investigate. I just want to see it.
Right?
Fair.
Real. It was Steve's answer, Alcatraz, as well.
Alcatraz was one, and then where we're going in May is one of the other places I wanted to go.
Yep. Yeah.
So
Oh, good. Check that
over in
out.
Ohio.
Yeah,
Mm.
Ohio State Reformatory.
Yes.
That is quite a building. OSR. Good
Oh,
Lord.
Shawshank?
Yeah.
Shawshank.
It
Yeah.
was really cool. I
Place
can't
is
wait to go
nuts.
back.
That place is
Mulberry
nuts.
Free.
Aaron, what about you?
Mine's probably kind of dark. I think I've always had a major interest in the Holocaust, and I wouldn't want to go to investigate per se, but I'd want to tap in the hopes that I didn't get anything, so that I know nobody's there, like still there.
Yeah.
So
That's
not to bring equipment and stuff, but just to kind of feel the space and hope that there's nobody still stuck there. But for me, it would be more historical. Like, I'd want to explore it just from a historical aspect of it, something like that, or Dachau or something like that.
I bet it's very intense. I feel like
Yeah.
it would be very intense.
It'd probably be overwhelming, I would imagine.
Yeah.
as any kind of sensitive or anything like that, it would be very tough to deal with, I think. But it would be interesting.
Yeah, absolutely. Did Ken already answer?
I don't think so.
Oh, where would I like to go? Yeah, not so much a specific place, but I think I'd like to go down to Savannah because there's just so much there.
We have a connection down there.
Savannah is something that sticks out for me. New Orleans, maybe a close second. If I was going overseas, it would definitely be castles in England. Name one,
Yeah.
That would be my thing.
Let's do a UK trip. We have a lot of trips we need to do.
No, we should just buy a plane.
We
That's it.
should.
Just buy a plane. No
With what
problem.
money, I have no clue because
Just write a check. It's fine.
right now I have about $50 and a Target gift card that's
There
happening.
you go.
I don't have enough for a plane, but
All right.
We got somebody in chat here says they want to go to the suicide forest.
ooh,
In Japan.
Oh.
It's in Japan, right?
Kokagora. I think it's in Japan, right?
I couldn't
That,
go like
He
that.
says it's weird. Yeah, JB, it is weird, but
Yeah.
I don't
how
think
about it?
Is that the base of Mount Fuji?
I did not know that. The base of Mount Fuji. Interesting.
All right. We have a conjuring question. See, Tammy.
I was wondering.
Wondering if the town was able to take the conjuring house over, would any of you go and work there again?
Absolutely. I would. I mean, I don't know if that's how that would work out.
Yeah,
But-
I think under a good ownership, I think any of us would go back and at least visit. And check in on the spirits and I mean it's something that at least for most of us miss. Working there. It wasn't really work. That was the thing. It was just kind of. I mean, it was one of those I don't know, jobs that wasn't really a job.
I think this is a bittersweet. That's not really a job. I think
Legally, it wasn't a job.
it was kind of a this is kind of like and I think it was said by the Heinzes as well that it was kind of like a bittersweet situation, kind of like the situation. It's very sad what happened and what's happening right now, and we don't want that to happen because it's kind of the end of such a very important era for the house's history. I think safety wise, what's happening right now is for the best. If it did open up as like a historical landmark or something like that, or even just a historical side of things, I would absolutely be there. I'd do everything I can to take part in taking care of the house.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Agreed.
But let us know what you guys think. Who wants to
Hey,
go first?
I have a question for all of you because other than a couple of events, I never worked there, ever. So can you give me 3 criteria? Like if somebody else took the house and they were interested, what would you like to see now that maybe was there before or wasn't in place before that should be?
Ooh.
I'd like the house to be fixed up.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that the
There
house needs work.
There were things in the beginning I thought were absolutely going to be fixed up, and I felt very optimistic about the changes that were going to be happening to the property. But then I saw that that's not what was happening, and it was turning into a very different situation where it seemed like things were not going well structurally and care for the house wise that needed to be done. So I would definitely make it like you have to fix the parts of the house, like the plaster in some of the stairs and things like that.
Yeah, and structurally the house needs some work as well. I mean, just to keep the house standing needs some work. I hear there's some foundation issues that are happening right now, and some main support issues as far as columns and things like that. So fixing the house would definitely be one. 2, I think a different business strategy might work out a little better as far as pricing and ticketing and some of the offerings that are currently there being changed, I think would be another big one for me.
That's what I liked about, and I'm not buttering up the Heinzen clan, but I'm going to say that it was apparent that the Heinzens weren't doing it as just a money thing. Like it wasn't like only about money for them. Like it was a genuine like open the house for people that wanted to come in and see it. from everywhere. And I think that was something I liked. And now I feel like that opportunity is kind of being taken away from a lot of people.
Yeah.
Or was being taken away from a lot of people.
Bring back sign in the wall.
Yeah.
Sign on the wall in the employee quarter, what's now the employee quarters, was really cool.
Yeah. I mean, that was. I mean, that was super cool. I mean, if it's still there, I mean, even I
I'm sure it's
know
not,
but
We scribbled all over.
yeah, I don't know. Who knows? But I will say I have my name written in some secret places in that house. So good luck finding it.
Cody. Anybody else want to answer?
For me, it would probably be someone who is more hands-on, who cares about more than who. I don't know how to word that. Someone who's just more hands-on, more social with the guests. Someone who could, I mean, just be part of it versus
whatever do you mean?
just someone who's more hands-on.
Oh,
Someone who just wants to be part of it all and show their face, and say hi to people and show that they.
are you saying that's not happening there?
Stop it. Stop.
Like,
Stop encouraging him.
or maybe less hands-on. You know, it would be nice to have. It would be nice to have someone manage it who knew a little bit about all of it, running events, the paranormal, so forth, so on. You know.
Yeah.
I'm just afraid that, you know, my concern would be if it ever gets to that point of desperation, that there are some people that would be interested in that house that personally, for myself, I would never want to see them own that house.
True.
I think we know who we're referring to, you know, because, I mean, we love the boarding house. We went there 5-6 times. Cody, myself, the team had an absolute blast, but I just don't have any interest in supporting that anymore. Private, there's something to be said for private ownership rather than just buying up properties.
Right. Good point.
Anybody else want to put in something? Their thoughts?
I think y'all summed it up pretty well.
All right, let me try to find the next question here. Just click a random one. How can you get in?
How can you get in to paranormal investigating? It's from Glenn. So what's some tips for people starting off investigating?
Oof.
I guess try to join a local team in your area so you don't have to spend all the thousands of dollars on equipment and things like that. And
that's important. Don't break the bank when it comes to a lot of this stuff. You don't need that much. And I guess the first thing is figure out why you want to do this seriously before you approach anybody. Like, what am I in this for? If it's just to prove there's ghosts and that's about it, I think you kind of get bored with that in a hurry. So it's up to you. Find out what it is about this field that interests you. Like, what's the goal? And then you kind of go from there. Like Cody said, you know, find a local group and interview them too. They're going to want to know something about you. You got to find out something about them. Get in with good people. You know, take your time doing that too. Take your time. Find the right fit.
Absolutely. I think also be skeptical of everything in a healthy amount. Don't jump on everything is evil and demons and everything is paranormal in general, because there's a lot of things that seem paranormal until you find the answer for it. That's what paranormal means, just beyond our normal or understanding. Until we find an answer for it, it's paranormal. So I think definitely look at it from a healthy skepticism level. There's definitely, you can find the line of healthy skepticism, and some people leap over it, and some people don't meet that. So I think try to do your best to find that healthy level there. Try to find the answers, not just assume things.
We have another visitor.
Uh-oh.
Yo.
It's Reed in the car. First time, long time.
Yep. We're back.
I'm surprised you made time for us.
I'm surprised my work let me out early.
Satori's been crying this whole time.
I know she cried the whole time.
I've
And put her
talked
makeup on
so
twice.
much. I've talked so bad about you the entire time until you hopped on.
Whatever you said, I support it. So
That's the default answer for some
I'm
things.
reading my
Yep,
support
okay.
that message.
I'm reading. I support that message. That's so funny. No, yeah. I mean, does anybody else have anything they want to add to, like, if somebody wants to get into paranormal investigating?
Have a thick skin.
Yeah.
You have to have a thick skin, because you might capture the most amazing evidence ever and you know it's genuine, but the minute you want to share it with anybody outside of your little circle, you're going to get blasted because people are just jealous. That's
true.
And it's sad to say that, but I mean, it's the truth. I mean, if it's not theirs, a lot of people they get.
Not everyone. but
Not everyone.
A lot of people.
But
There's a question in there. I don't know if you guys are going to get to it tonight, but I did see as it scrolled by one question in there that like kind of addresses that kind of thing. Just having a thick skin and being built for it. Not everybody's built for it. I think you'd agree, So yeah, if we get to it, maybe we'll go there. So
No, yeah. I mean, if you asked me a little over a year ago if I had thick skin, I would have said yeah. And then what happened, and I found out I didn't have a thick skin. And I went through like the 1,000 phases of like, I was, it was just sadness. It was disgust. It was anger. It was not understanding fully. It was, my mental health was like in the toilet at one part because I was so happy to share something with people. And I thought I was ready to take it. I thought I was ready to take people that didn't agree 100%. But then there was other things that wasn't just people not agreeing. The internet and the web today, the internet in whole, is a very scary place. And when you try to share things on the internet, be prepared that you're going to get every single opinion. If you think that somebody wouldn't say something, I absolutely would. So definitely have a thick skin. I mean, now I'm stronger because all of it. And I think a lot of us are with this, even with the Conjuring House controversy right now. I think a lot of us had to put on a thick skin for this in specific. And I think if you asked us a while ago if we all would have been strong enough to go through all this together, I don't think we all would have said yes. But now it seems it had to be.
I think that, in some ways I'm lucky because back when Moses and I started investigating this, you didn't have cell phones, the internet, and there was something like beautiful about that. There was none of that. I mean, the bad part is there wasn't as much information. You had to dig for it. But in another way, you could just do what you love to do, and without having to, get the negative backlash from it. Questions are always welcome. Happy to answer questions.
Mm-hmm.
Drama is not.
Drama is not. No. You can be skeptical. You can have your opinions. That's fine. But once you start being hateful and cruel and spreading misinformation, that's a whole different thing. We don't do drama.
Yeah. Here's one from Callie. Cody and Satori, do you still chat with Abigail from time to time?
To be honest, we haven't talked to the family much since we've had to say our goodbyes from the house. And that could be due to, one, we haven't exactly asked for them just because I think emotionally, I don't know if I'd be able to handle it given the current situation. Two, it's also been just so nonstop with the drama that it's kind of like we haven't really had time to try. And three, it also, I think if there's spirits, in this plane with all of us, I don't think they're traveling much outside of where they want to be. So, for example, like that house is the Arnold's house. That's their Arnold estate. So if they're going to be anywhere, chances are easiest chance to talk to them, they're going to be there. So, I think that's a couple reasons for it.
I think we got that video, by the way, if you want to give some back context on it.
So Cody had this thing called a rebirthday party, and we used to do a rebirthday party at the Conjuring House when Corey and Jen owned it. And what a rebirthday was us just celebrating that Cody had been in remission from leukemia from a transplant for so many years. And for his 9th rebirthday, we had a party, and it seemed like it got a little hectic. And this is the video that Madison Heinzen's TikTok created with a template from the videos of that night.
Yeah, TikTok made this video by itself and added the thing and everything. So here it goes.
Do you ever look at someone and wonder what is going on inside their head?
Wait, I need to watch it more.
Do you ever look at someone and wonder what is going on inside their head?
What exactly was happening in that clip again?
Something with it.
I remember it. I remember it. Corey, you had that the massage.
The tens unit. You were yelling, more power!
Were you zapping Troy or something?
Corey was zapping people, and I was like, turn it up.
Me and I think it was me and Tyler were like, full power, and Cody had his balloon, full power!
Maddie showed that to us on our TikTok and we died.
Oh my God. That was just, those parties were just something else. Like it started off so wholesome and nice, and then they turned so fast.
Can we just put it out there that these are on
the
nights that there
instigator.
were no other investigators?
Yes.
These were closed evenings
Yeah,
to the
these
public.
were not events. These were friends.
Yeah.
That was not stuff.
Started off so nice and then it went sideways. I wish I had a nickel for every time I've heard that.
Right.
For everybody watching, you didn't book those experiences at that. They did not offer those experiences.
Yeah.
That was nights nobody booked the house.
Yeah, usually we would get a text saying, "Hey, nobody booked the house tonight. Everyone want to get together?" And then we'd all just drive down unexpectedly.
Or I would text them and be like, "Is there any day that you don't have the house booked that we can do a surprise rebirthday party?"
Yeah.
All right, so I'm kind of skipping around a little bit. Let's try. I think this one popped up already. So let's. How about Hinsdale? Hinsdale House I've been once or twice, and really cool location. Dan Class runs that, and really cool location.
I want to
in New
go.
York. Yeah, really, really neat.
I've never been.
Yeah.
That wasn't far from the Shanley, was it?
I think it's a couple hours from the Shanley. I want to say like an hour, 2 hours.
Huh.
Okay.
Isn't Dan selling that?
I have no idea.
I don't know. Is he?
Maybe. I don't know. I'm not sure.
Let me know if you find anything about that, because that's really interesting if he is.
He was at one point, wasn't he?
I thought he was, but I don't know if he still is.
I haven't seen anything recently, so maybe I have no idea. Maybe. But yeah, that place is cool. I'm just kind of skipping around. Let's see. What's your views on the debunking community? Anyone want to start with this one?
You know what? You mind if I do?
Sure.
Everybody can share their opinions.
I think that you gotta separate the skeptical community from the debunking community, and I'll tell you why. Because a skeptic will take on the claim, okay, without going after the claimant. You know, if someone says something, that's some remarkable thing, they have to prove it out. But there's no character assassination that comes with it. There's no questioning everybody's motives and like I say, their character. So I think that's the difference between the two, and sometimes they get blurred. I think that everyone respects both communities. You know, skeptical community, if it's peer review, and again, I get stuff sent to me all the time, and then people will get mad if I say, well, it could be this. And I understand that, but you know, then don't send it to me. I'm going to be honest with you. Debunking community is welcome as well, because you certainly don't want people to be taken advantage of. But unfortunately, you bring a third thing into there, and that's entertainment now. So you get the skeptical community looking at claims, and going through them systematically. You got the debunking community, which the word debunk means to stop a hoax. It has nothing to do with an alternate explanation. We misuse the word. But when it starts getting into, again, like I say, character assassination, that people you've never been in a room with, you've never met, you've never spent 2 minutes alone with them away from the paranormal, it just seems like a stretch. Why go there? If the object of your day, whether you're a viewer or whether you're a content creator, is, we can curse on here. Who am I going to fuck with today? Let me pick a target. Let me just throw a dart against the board. It's like, oh, it's Steve Mills. Okay, let's go back in his history and let's look for. I just like to think in the years I have left on the earth, it's like I want to spend them differently. And that's really all I can say about it. When you start getting into the claims are one thing, when you get into character assassination, it's something entirely different, because you don't have to go there.
Right.
You don't. So.
Yeah. To go off of that with my thoughts on it, I think that, the debunking community can be absolutely great. I think there's a lot of things out online and out in the world that are not true. And if someone sees that to not be true, or they don't think that's true, say it. Absolutely. I think say your opinions always. Your opinions are always yours. I think that skeptics are in a bit of a different category than that. Teach your own, do whatever you want to do, as long as you're not harming anybody else in that process. That's all I have to say. That's all I have to say on that. And that's from somebody that's kind of been checked out from all communities. I've been, analyzed in believer communities and skeptical communities and debunker communities. I've seen it all. So I think everybody's great. Everybody, do your own thing. I just think, be nice to everybody and try to be.
I got that point of view from, I can't think of his first name. His last name was Moore. He was on the board of the Skeptical Inquirer. He wrote a manifesto about skeptics, like how they can go too far. When they make it personal, then their bias comes through. And that's not what a skeptic needs, is any kind of bias. If your thing is, I don't believe in this stuff and that's what I'm going for, I mean, I can debunk anything. Send me something. It's like, and I'll debunk it for you. I'll come up with some reason or how it was done. So I don't know. That's just, again, humble opinion.
Anybody else have anything they want to put into it as well?
Well, I think, from our experiences, I think what we've experienced, at least with a lot of what we've been through, is that there's definitely a lot of cancel culture out there as well that's kind of mixed in with this stuff, and people believe whatever is put out there. I mean, when Satori and I's videos first went out, that we were featured on, a lot of the debunking community raised some very great questions, and we thought they were very valid, especially when you're watching what we do from a screen, right? Instead of being there in person. But then once in a while, you have some people that make videos and they either just make up stuff or they pass their opinion on as hard fact.
People.
And then viewers kind of take that and run with it as the truth. And then that rumor starts a whole domino effect of misinformation. So I highly recommend people do their own research for themselves. If you're really into watching, these type of videos on the internet, then try researching the facts on your own, and kind of going down your own rabbit hole of what you think the truth is, and then form your own conclusions from that, because the internet is a very interesting thing these days, and And we've learned that it can definitely sway people in different directions for different reasons. And I think the debunking community is very important. I mean, we need people that have minds like that. You know what I mean, and question things, because there are individuals out there that don't have the best intentions when they're coming out and making videos and going into people's homes and investigating and things like that. And then there's even more people that are quite honest with what they do, and do everything with the right intentions. So I think everything needs to be questioned, but don't put anything out there unless you know 100% that that's the truth, and can back up what you're saying. That's all I have to say.
Yeah, I don't know if people understand how much we question things.
Yeah.
I mean, usually we buy everything. It's like, it's not true. I just wanted to put this up there because, Satori, I think your dad is watching the wrong channel right now. There's a great bunch of people on here. So, Jason, this is dead air. I don't know if you were looking for something else, but
All right, let's move on. All right, Brendan Monk has a question. Did any one of you hear many voices in the house? That's a good question. If you did, what'd you hear?
everybody's heads nodding. So. Hey, you guys spent more time there than I did.
I think the most common thing that I would hear the most is probably like giggling, like upstairs.
Yeah. I don't know if I heard giggling myself.
I heard a bunch of different things. I've heard giggling. I've heard hellos. I've heard.
I posted that to the Conjuring Facebook page.
Which one?
The community page that people have talking about everything. I posted a video and it's you going, "Hello, spirits," and then you hear that voice go,
I
"Hello."
had the cane. Yeah.
And he just turns around. He's like, "Hello."
That's one thing that I think most of us would do is when you first walk into the house, or whenever you would walk into the house from the staff quarter.
Of course, as soon as we start talking about spirits, there he goes.
Just as a sign of respect and just to say hi, and usually you don't expect to hear something back, but when you hear hello back, that's when it kind of catches you off guard. And you're like, what the heck? So that happened a couple times. I've heard Satori talking to me and calling my name, and obviously she wasn't. She was either out of the house or she was vacuuming in another room. Voices that mimic other voices. All different things. Doors opening and closing, but when you watch the cameras, going back, none of the doors had moved. So residual sounds like that. Just countless stuff and stuff from the woods. I mean, the house was one thing, but the woods behind the house was a totally different ball game. A totally different vibe. We heard all different things coming from the woods, drumming,
whooping.
All different crazy things coming from the woods. So,
what about the Heinzens? They literally own the property. Did you guys get a lot of voices and stuff?
I don't know what you're talking about. No, there were many times like I would be down there and just walking through, just like what Cody was saying. You say good morning to him as you're walking through to get coffee or something like that, and all of a sudden you hear, "Hey," or something like that, and the dogs are looking at you. It's like, okay, I know I didn't just hear that. The dogs heard it too. So, but
yeah. Maddie, you're being quiet.
No, yeah, I definitely have. One time I heard a mimic of what sounded like my mom, named Jen, but it was weird. It was enough to startle me where I was yelling, thinking it was her talking to me when I was in the bathroom getting ready for the day, and was not her. She was on the other side of the house. So that definitely freaked me out because it sounded just like her. But definitely countless times I've heard voices inside the house.
Good. Honestly, it was an incredibly active location. I mean, would I say it was the most haunted house in the world? No. I think that statement is based off of opinion, honestly, and what you've experienced where everybody's opinion is going to be different. Is it one of the more famous places in the world? Absolutely. But I don't think it was like you wouldn't go into that house and see things flying and people get possessed and, you know, stuff like that. I mean, it's just you'd see things move on occasion,
Sure.
but it's not like crazy horror movie level stuff that was happening, at least when we were there.
I would say we all got lucky enough to be there for a longer period of time too. So they got to know us.
The claim that that's the most haunted house in the world came from a person that's only investigated one place. And that's that house.
Touche.
No.
True.
You know what is weird about too? That it's the complete opposite of the question that was asked. But I had 2 times it would happen. You'd go out in the woods. Since Cody brought up the woods, you would hear nothing. No critters. No birds. Nothing. Which I always thought was odd. And I'm talking like in the middle of June or July, where it should be, you know, summertime, and you would hear nothing but your own breath and footsteps and like leaves hitting the ground. That's how quiet it would be out there, which I always thought was weird. And then somebody asked about the whooping. Yeah, I wondered if it was a Bigfoot type situation, because when I mentioned it to Corey, because I heard it in the middle of the day, he was like, "You need to go check out the Sierra sounds," and I didn't know what that was at the time, but I do wonder if that's that was really the only voice I ever heard was like whoop. It was weird.
Yeah.
This question kind of piggybacks off of that, and you know, it can, you know, not just be with the house, but with anything. What things do people believe in? I definitely think Bigfoot is a possibility for sure, 100%.
Yeah.
I don't know who wants to go first.
A lot of those animals, we lose some every day and we gain some every day. A lot of those we don't know, because they're in territories like, you know, the Amazon, you know, that humans just can't go into. But even if it's like lizards, turtles, different things like that, we're always discovering something. You can make a case for Bigfoot. You can make a case against it. But, you know, that's kind of the fun of it, to just imagine that, you know, bipedal primates out there someplace, you know, how they got there, whether it's evolution or I don't know. I don't think they come on UFOs, but that's just me. What do I know?
True.
I don't know.
Maybe they're aliens.
I mean, I believe Bigfoot could exist. Absolutely. I believe in aliens. Absolutely. I don't know what else I believe in. I think there are some creatures in the woods, like if you look at history and art and you see like the depictions of things that look like Bigfoot or look like these really skinny humanoid like creatures that are pale skinned and they're like hiding in caves and things like that, you actually will see some things like that depicted throughout different cultures in history. And being an art history major myself, I see some of these things and I'm like, it makes me wonder if there's something out there. I mean, a lot of different cultures and time periods are depicting these things like aliens and this sort of, you know, Bigfoot-like creature. And I'm like, it just seems like there's way too many spans, like just too many people talking about it for it to be a legend. Like there has to be something it was all based off of, at least, to make people start saying that. So I don't know. That's just my perspective. What do you guys believe in?
Well, I used to do Bigfoot stuff there with Cody. We'd go in the woods and do knocking in the trees, and I absolutely believe that they're around.
Yeah.
I told him multiple times we should go out and go looking anywhere, not just there, anywhere.
Anywhere, yeah, I'd love to do that. I think that'd be fun.
Bridgewater Triangle. Let's
Oh,
do it.
yes.
Let's go out there. Hockomock Swamp.
Let's go out there. We'll go out there when there's snow because I'm terrified of ticks. I'll take on a goat. I'll take on Bigfoot. I'll take on anything. Just don't give me.
You gonna take on cult members?
Daytime.
Oh boy.
That's what that's what the sticks are for.
Oh.
Steve was talking about.
Does that fall under the fear the living, not the dead scenario when you're dealing with cults?
Most definitely.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Touche.
Speaking of the Gardner Mansion, Marion. Hi, Marion.
Yay.
Is there a paranormal investigator that you would like to work with that you have not yet?
Hmm.
I don't know.
Zach
Rick
Bates?
McCollum for me.
Heard that Jason Hawes guy is pretty nice.
Yeah, that too.
What was that? What was that contest that Corey was in? I forget his name.
Oh, Kane Hodder.
Oh, Kane. Yeah.
Cody said Zach Baggins before. Did I really hear him say that?
Jason was still listening.
Barry Fitzgerald for me.
Dude, he's a cool dude.
Yep.
I don't know. I mean, we've investigated, I guess, with him before. So I was gonna say John Zaffis, but we've kind of investigated with him before. Kind of.
Zaffis is a good one too. I haven't investigated with Zaffis. That would be awesome.
I don't know who else.
What about you?
I mean, who?
Maddie's just like, I can't hear nothing.
Sorry, I'm like, the internet keeps like cutting in and out with you guys. No one that I can really think of. I don't know. It's a great question though.
She's too cool to investigate with anybody else.
No.
For the fun of it,
Yeah, that's what she said.
for the fun of it and the background and everything, I think I would love to do something with Troy Taylor.
Oh,
Everybody knows who Troy. He's written a million books. Kind of out based in Chicago. So I think that would be fun. I've met the guy, didn't investigate with him, but it seems like that would be fun. Go with Troy Taylor to Lemp Mansion or Bachelor's Grove or any of those places out there that are on his, on his regular list. That'd be fun.
You know who I would say?
What?
You know who I would say? Dan Aykroyd.
Oh, wow.
I am such a big fan of Dan Aykroyd, and I know he's into the paranormal.
Big time.
And
he's a spiritualist. Yeah.
I would literally freak out if I got the opportunity to investigate with him or show him what Cody and I do, because I know he's interested in the whole spiritualist type stuff. So I'd be like, just give me a minute. Dan, just give me a minute. Just stand right there. I want to show you something. Like, I would be freaking out just to have the opportunity to do something with him, honestly.
make sure he's sitting down first.
I don't know. I'm just such a big fan. I grew up watching Ghostbusters. I don't know. I would freak out.
I would say Chris Jericho. That guy used to be WWE. I know what's his name? Joe Renoni did stuff with them.
Yeah.
But the only reason why I say Chris Jericho is because when I was 8 years old, he ripped a sign out of my hand in Providence and smashed it over his knee. So that's the only reason why I'd pick him.
What kind of sign?
At a wrestling
Oh,
event.
I'm like
WWE, yeah.
Sounds like a
Bill Murray would be fun too. That's
Bill
right.
Murray would be fun.
that would be wicked cool too.
Taking the Ghostbusters investigating would be fun in general.
If I heard that I could investigate with at least one of the Ghostbusters, I'd probably cry.
Yeah.
They'd be like, "You're
That'd
the
be neat.
daughter of a ghost hunter, and you're freaking out to ghost hunt with me." I'd be like, "Yeah, yeah." I'd
Absolutely.
cry my eyes out.
I met Ernie Hudson a couple things. He's very into, that type of stuff too.
Oh
So-
my gosh!
Stormy Daniels is into the paranormal, so she's out there. if anybody-
I honestly hear, that she's really interested in paranormal investigating.
She is actually, yeah.
Yeah.
That would be
Yeah.
cool too. I mean, Ghostbusters wise, oh my gosh, I'm a crazy fangirl, to be honest.
Is it
Good.
Taylor?
That's fair.
Like, I'd probably scare them.
It's a good
But-
pick.
Ken mentioned Lemp Mansion. Has anyone been? I haven't been there. I don't think any of us have.
I don't think I've been.
Not yet. Someday, Scott.
Yeah, because we've already had inquiries made into Lemp Mansion because somebody in our group was born in St. Louis, and that would be Julie.
Ah.
So you know the way Julie is, she flew out there on business, and she got to go to the haunted place, and then she's got to look up the manager of the haunted place, and they were like, "Yeah, come on down," because you can go in there and investigate it as a group. So that's one of those cool places.
A lot of cool responses to the who would you invest in? Some people, Jack Osborne, that'd be cool. Bill, Troy is awesome. Chipper, Cindy, nice.
Love Cindy.
Us. We'll get you over here. We can do it. All right, let's move on. Here's a good one. What kind of activity did you get at the Spalding Inn?
Oh my gosh, what activity did we not get at the Spalding Inn? I always say if I won the lottery, I'd buy that place back just to have it, because there were times where you used to have to ask for permission or knock on the door before opening it at the Spalding Inn, or else the locks would turn and then you'd get locked out of a room. Or there were times where if you lost something, you had to ask for it and it would just appear. Like fun things like that. Voices, shadows. There's one of the scariest clips I have ever seen in my entire life captured at the Spalding Inn of a shadow moving across the hall. That's just very shaped a little weird. So it definitely, activity wise, the Spalding Inn was one of the most active. I grew up there practically, so there was always something. I mean, there was one time we were investigating, me and my brothers and my cousins were determined we were going to investigate the Spalding Inn, and we, during the day, we took a phone. It was like one of those iPod, like smartphone hybrid things that there were, and we decided to voice record on it. And we went to one of the rooms, we're asking questions, and somebody, I don't know if it was my brother or what, said like, we're not scared of you, you know, doing the child stuff. Like when we're all little, we're like, we're not scared of ghosts kind of thing. And all of a sudden you hear, rah, and it was coming from everywhere. It sounded like a ghost growled at us, like, but like not in a way that it was like, you're going to get hurt. It was like a pissed off ghost that was like, you know, you're annoying me, kids, I'm gonna get you out of here. And it was almost like an older man's voice doing this growly noise, and we ran and screamed. And if that spirit wanted to get us out of that hallway for a little while to find some peace and quiet, they definitely got it, because we didn't go back down that hallway for a while. So things like that happened all the time. I swear the spirits raised me at that place. I swear they did. I loved it.
All right, let's see if we can get through some of these because we have a list here.
We're trying.
What location have you been to that wasn't known to be historically haunted or talked about, but wound up being crazy?
Ooh, does anybody have that happen?
GRCC.
The
That's what I was
GRCC. That is true.
Definitely
I
haunted.
imagine they wouldn't promote the haunted side of anything at the GRCC.
Yeah, I mean, we've been to a lot of private cases at like schools that are still open and churches and things like that. That you know, they obviously don't really talk about what's going on, but they wanted to know, you know, who could be there and things like that. As far as like historically haunted, I mean, we've been to houses that were built, you know, months previous, that, you know, something was going on with the land or something extreme, you know, traumatic happened in the area, and it seemed to have bled over to the property spiritually. So I guess places like that, but a lot of those places are like private cases, at least for me, that that, you know, weren't televised or put
Like
on
a house,
video.
just a regular house. And then you go and you're like, this is not a regular house.
Yeah.
Yeah. If anybody ever wants to add anything, just feel free to talk.
Yeah, just jump in.
All
right, let's see here. Okay. Corey, you want to start with this one?
I'll be honest with you. I think it's a trickster. I don't think there's anything nasty down there. I know you guys might have a different opinion on it. I've never had anything bad happen to me at that house. I've never had anything like really, you know, but
yeah.
I just think it's just something that just.
I think it's totally possible to have something happen, though.
Oh no, absolutely. I mean,
so my opinion is, so I definitely think there definitely is like a trickster spirit there, and I think because of like the whole broken neck story and the thing in the basement and just everything that Hollywood has fed into the story and the intentions that people go, you know, have when they go to the farm, that they kind of feed whatever trickster spirit could be there, and in turn that energy is given back to you. So that's just my opinion. I believe that whatever you put out, you get back, you know, tenfold. So if you're going in there thinking that there's a demon in the basement, then you're going to feel like there's a demon in the basement. You know what I mean? If you go down there feeling like everything's great and, you know, these are all good spirits, then I think that's where you're going. Very rarely I would go down there and feel creeped out or anything like that.
What was that experiment where they ultimately manifested activity?
The Phillips
The
experiment.
Phillips experiment. I think it could be very similar to that. I think if you go somewhere praising something or hoping for something to happen, you're kind of feeding that to happen. So I think it's absolutely possible, like Jen and Corey said. I think there's something down there that's not the nicest thing, and I don't think it's Satan himself in the basement of the Conjuring house. I don't believe that. I just think it's something that's tricky, something that just makes people uneasy and likes to make people uneasy. And I think that helps.
The term.
Oh, there's definitely something at the house that makes people uneasy.
Yeah.
I mean, the term is you create a tulpa.
Tulpa.
You know, that's everybody's collective energy where you can actually manifest something, you know. I think that's over a period of time. So there's certainly been enough time there with everybody buying the same stories, you know, that you can almost manifest those type of things, you know, going in the wrong direction too.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, there are times like I would be vacuuming or cleaning the house and all of a sudden I just feel very uneasy. Like my stomach would turn. I would start to get paranoid and I just have to sit there and be like, go away, because I just didn't feel comfortable in that moment. You know, it's like every now and then you get hit with something a little bit, but it was not constant. Like you weren't going in and getting attacked or anything like that. It was just every now and then there was something that was a little uneasy.
Right.
Yeah. And all the spirits have different attitudes. I mean, at least as far as what Satori and I do, there was definitely some spirits that wanted to talk more than others. And there's some spirits that really wanted nothing to do with us.
Aaron knows well.
You know what I mean? And they weren't, you know, demonic or anything like that. They were just, you know, regular people like you or I that passed on that didn't have, you know, the best attitudes all the time. And of course you catch, you know, spirits on a bad day as well. And they don't really want to communicate. And sometimes they really want to communicate and show what they can do. So it all depends on what day it was and what spirit you were talking to. And that kind of changed the whole vibe of the house. And more importantly, what type of living energy was coming into the house. Because not every living person coming into the house had the best intentions. You know what I mean? So, so I think the house kind of fed off that as well. So, and that's why, you know, when we would all start our tours, we would always say, you know, come with the best intentions, be respectful of the house. One of the biggest rules was no provoking, because, you know, we didn't want to, you know, stir up, you know, whatever, you know, spirit was not having a good day. You know what I mean?
But there were people that were so terrified to come to the house because of what Hollywood fed to them. Like there was like people crying out in the parking lot while we're trying to check them in because they're so scared to go into the evil house. And it's like, no.
The girl who wouldn't give us, Satori and I were trying to check this lady in. I remember I felt it was like it was a work trip. I remember this was like a team building thing for this couple of people. This one girl was so scared. She didn't even want to give Satori the clipboard back.
I felt so bad.
And it was like, honey, it's okay. You're going to be just fine. She ended up having a great time. She went in, she had a blast. It was fine. But I think some people, they get in their own heads first.
Well, the waiver also scared the heck out of some people.
True.
Some of the terminology in that waiver.
People that won't sign the waiver, huh, Maddie?
Oh my God, Maddie knows.
Yeah, that was awful. But
for a lot of people, though, that's how they come to it, right? With knowledge of the movie, or maybe the books, or videos, and you know, that's their introduction to it.
There were people that I had to say ahead of time, I'm like, if you need to hold my hand to get into the house, I will absolutely do it, because they were so scared and I'm so sorry. And as soon as you tell them the history and you're like, the movie was literally like 99% Hollywood. Right. And as soon as you get into that, they're like, oh, okay, I can do this. This is just a haunted house. It's like, yes, it's a haunted house.
Well, you'd have people who would come up and drive in. I remember there was people in the back seat and, are there demons here? It was like, no.
Not today. I think I'm home for the weekend.
Right. Yeah, I brought my demon with me, but it was like, there's enough happening, you know, like you don't need them. It's interesting on the face as it is. You don't. I mean, if you want to leave because you don't think, like, go ahead. But you drove all this way, you might as well come in. You already paid for the ticket, you know.
Like, we're the scariest thing in that house.
You got to
was
tell them
surprised at the amount of people that never actually had seen the movie. Like, I don't know if you guys got that a lot on your tours, but
Yep.
I would listen to Maddie sometimes, and I was surprised at the amount of people that never even watched the movie.
I was one of them.
Until last summer, right? That was the first time?
Until last summer when I had to start the fire, throw gasoline on it.
Last summer?
Last summer's movie night.
I, you know, when I was going over there, just dropping by, giving a hand, Cody and I, we'd always start upstairs at the last bedroom and always got off to an unbelievable start with Henry. And, you know, corroboration on a lot of different things we were using. And I remember the same thing with Steve. So we would just repeat that. And that little boy would almost be like, you know, the welcoming party for everybody. And then he'd go away, but he'd spend some time there. And I was always amazed. And the best part about that is when we took groups up there, Cody, in their like initial session, something like that would happen. And then they would be just the happiest people in the world and something's going on. What happened for the rest of the night? No one can promise anything, but I remember those times. And it was pretty amazing just because of the consistency of it. It was like every single time we do that.
Yeah, absolutely.
You had a relationship with that spirit too, though. Like, I feel like you're a little more in tune to things than you like to put on.
Well, I think it's like a trust thing. I think it would have been the same thing with you, because you would always take during our go events. Satori would always take the basement, and I would go upstairs with Ken. And I think if it was switched, I think it would have worked just the same. But I remember, you know, with our groups, we would get the little toy cars moving on the tables by themselves, and people would take videos of that. I mean, I know there's people out there that have videos of the cars moving on the tables, the ball rolling off of the little hutch thing that was in the middle bedroom.
The only time I can remember that we actively talked to a spirit of what seemed to be a child upstairs, like you and me, was we were alone and you were playing with that toy where you have to get the ball on the string in the cup.
Oh, I loved that.
And he's playing with it. Yeah. And all of a sudden he gets it. He's like, I finally got it. And I went, Henry, you didn't see that, did you? And all we hear is, no. And that was the only time I've ever talked to him.
Yeah.
It was like he was playing along with it. But that was the only time I've ever like really... I feel like it was just not as a connection with that.
Yeah, well, at least with that, I know, you know, when we would do our go events with Ken or investigations or whatever, it seemed like Henry would have like a bedtime where he would just leave after a certain amount of time. You know, like after the first session, we couldn't really get him back after that, and other spirits would come.
You see the dog snoot that just came in the camera?
Sorry, Snoot.
Aww.
Hey, what are you doing?
Sir.
What are the most important things while spirit hunting? Good question.
Most important thing.
Who wants to start? Corey and Jen, you start.
Respect. One word. I'm out of here. Just respect.
Respect.
I mean, have a conversation as you would a living person, and I try to stay away from things like, did you die here, or, you know, bring up bad things, and just try to say, hey, I'm not here to judge, whatever. It's just want to talk to you.
Right. Not
respect.
Right. Agreed. I concur, Ken.
Yeah. I mean, also patience. Like, there would be times where I would talk to spirits and it's like you'd have to kind of re-describe what you want done again or how you'd want it done. Like, you'd have to, you know, because you have to be patient with them. And sometimes they would get frustrated and say things. And you have to be okay with them being frustrated and sometimes getting mean. I've been roasted a couple times. So you have to get used to it. Patience is also a key.
We have. I've had spirits roast me before. It's, you know.
Yeah.
It's fun.
There was one time that Abigail made us think that we couldn't talk to spirit anymore after Cody got his hip replaced. and we're trying to get communication. And I'm like, Spirit, can you just come through real quick? Just let me know that this still works, because Cody had 2 hip replacements. I don't know if this will work anymore. And silence. Like, it was just silence for a while. And I was like, oh my God, how am I going to tell people that we just like can't do this
Playing
anymore?
the sympathy angle.
Like, and I'm freaking out. I'm crying. And the only thing that comes through is, what was it? Wasn't it like gotcha or something? Or like, it was like something that was pretty much like psych.
Joking, yeah.
And I was like, wow, now I'm bawling my eyes out. There are times like that, but.
Oh, I love it.
Love you. Oh, we
Aw,
all.
He's a cute puppy.
Dog's
All right.
getting more views than we are now.
That's usually the way it goes.
What are your plans for the future? Is everyone
What has everyone else been up to since leaving the Conjuring House? Not sure if you have to actually read it.
I
instead of
can't
going,
see
blah, blah, blah,
around
blah,
the
blah.
camera.
What are your goals and plans for the future? And what is everyone else up to since leaving the Conjuring House? All right. Well, for us, we're still trying to open the museum. We're, actively still looking for a location for that.
We got set back, to say the least.
Big time. So we're recouping that. If you want to help with that, support us on Patreon. The links are in the comments. And we're still investigating every single week. We either go out with RISEUP or TAPS or our friends and investigate different haunted locations, primarily private cases. So people who want us to visit their homes, who are scared, and we help out them. And conventions, we do conventions a lot. So follow us on social media to find out where we're going next. Our next stop is Gettysburg, the weekend of September 7th, December 7th, sorry, December 7th.
I was like, what month is it right now?
Taking a whole year off. Good for you.
I wish. That'd be fun. So we're keeping busy, and everyone else is here.
What about you guys? What is everyone up to?
Like 250 pounds.
Oh God. Yeah. No,
I'm the not sure if everyone was working there. I'm that person. Other than a couple of events, I was not part of the staff there.
You got treated like you were, though.
Yeah, Ken was like auxiliary staff.
Yeah, exactly. We're hanging out. You and Dawn want to come. We're bored. Yeah, all right, we'll go up there.
I'm thinking eat pizza with us.
I'll bet 3/4 of the times we visited there, we never left the staff room. We just came in to hang out with you guys. There were times I never went in the house.
Yeah.
For any reason. It was just hang out, get some snacks, and just have a few laughs. I think that's, for me, from like, I'm going to say outside. I wasn't part of the staff, but that is the thing I miss about it the most. I had my time there, did the investigations, caught a lot of great stuff. A lot of great stuff. It's an active house. We documented a lot, but that's what I miss about it, is just place to go hang out. And it used to be like that. It used to be like that, but
Yeah.
No, I used to like pizza parties when they were just pizza parties.
yeah.
Jay.
Good. I miss the
Touche.
actual pizza parties.
Right.
But
Chase people out of the yard, stuff like that.
That was always fun.
Where's Story going? She's all fired up right now. She's just out there alone, like she's stomping out. Probably should go out there with her. Jeez.
I would get so mad sometimes because some people wouldn't listen to me. I'd have to tell them to keep moving, and they would like not listen to me until this one came out, and he's significantly bigger than me. And obviously they'd be like, "Oh, she's serious." Like as soon as he comes out. But I would try to scare them away. And sometimes they would just keep coming. They would just walk in.
Sometimes we
Put you and Maddie on together. You two on the same shift would have totally done a great job. Maddie was like a hawk when someone was on the camera.
Oh my God.
Love it.
Yeah, I would watch. That's all we would have to do. We'd stay up all night and watch the cameras. All night. The job never ended.
You come with release expected pouring rain.
Mhm.
I'm surprised. What are your goals for the future? You didn't mention getting married. I guess that's not a thing. That's not a thing.
Yeah,
anymore.
it's
Yeah.
fine. I mean, everybody already
Not
thinks
really.
we're
We'll get to
married.
it when we get to it.
Yeah. Everybody
That's-
already acts like we are.
It's
So
old
it's not-
news now. Yeah.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
any other questions we can jump to before we?
Yeah. All right. Let's see.
What's the
Scariest ghost encounter you've ever
experienced?
experienced?
Oh boy.
Scariest.
You
Scary.
watched some wild stuff happen where I don't know if I can mention that actually. Never
Yeah,
mind.
that was a private case.
That was a private case. That was intense though. I watched the couch move backwards and hit a wall really hard. Like a full couch.
I
It
saw
didn't-
that.
It didn't
I
go
saw
one at a
that.
time. The whole couch just
Couch
went
just
up
moved
against the
backwards.
wall. Yeah. And I realized you cannot, it's not invisible string pulling that couch back to slam up against the wall. And then when you realize that things can actually move, it's like a level up. And then you're like, "Oop."
New fear level unlocked.
I need a minute. But
I don't think this is. I mean, it's not really a place for tough guys. You know what I mean? It's really not. It's not push me down the stairs, scratch me, punch me. I mean, I don't think I've ever been scared. I've had a few jumps. We all have at some point. You're not expecting anything, but I can't think of a place where something happened that it was. I remember Pain House. Something so surprising happened. I had to go outside and just kind of work it out in my own head, but. I don't know if anybody, I can't speak for you guys, but I mean, there's been some jumps, but
I had something yell at me, so that changed my life. So
That scared him
yeah,
more than a jump scare.
because there's just something about it. It takes all the energy out of that area, and you can't do nothing. You can't yell, you can't scream, you can't move. I don't know. Maybe I'm just a scaredy cat, but
You want to say something?
no,
Oh, I thought you wanted to say something.
no.
All right, that's it.
I
No
don't know.
fun.
We said.
I can't talk about most of mine. That's what I hate. But I would say my experience at the farm that last summer with a spirit that didn't want to be my friend at all, like not at all. That was somewhat scary. And then I had a couple nights at the farm before we left that were scary to me, but I think it was more lack of experience in not being an investigator. You hear sounds sometimes that were so big you can't figure out where it's coming from. But I think for me, it was not so much like if you put any of y'all on the screen in that room, it probably you would have woken up and been like, yeah, roll back over and go to sleep. And I'm under a blanket like, Steve's in the camper, don't run out of the house. Steve's in the camper, but it was mostly lack of experience, I think, more than anything else. But as far as anything like terrifying, no. My own head, probably. That's about it.
I don't think I've ever been terrified. There's just been things that have happened where I'm like, oh, that added a little bit of spice. I need a minute. Like that was just, I need a break for a second to kind of understand that we went up in level, and I just need a break.
Right.
To get back on the page. But yeah, like people laugh when I say that, but there's some times where things happen. You're like, ooh, that's just a little, that's a little more than I was expecting.
Woof.
Yeah.
the only
Or he's
time
like, damn
I've ever
it.
seen Satori terrified was the new Jackass movie.
That was terrifying. No, because you just
What
told me
is
it's a
this?
prank movie. And it's just gonna be a movie with pranks. They just prank each other. It's funny. Oh, okay. I love pranks. And then the opening of the third movie comes on the screen, and I did not consent to seeing that. I didn't know.
Her face was priceless. Like
These are not the pranks you were looking for, are they?
My first thought was I looked at it and I made out what it was, and I just looked over at Corey. I was
Maddie and
like,
I
"Oh
spent
my
half
God."
the time just watching Satori's
that
reaction.
first impression.
It was traumatizing, to be honest.
right,
I love it.
Maddie grew up traumatized. She's used to that stuff.
I
Wasn't.
was.
Here's a question from a special person.
Hey,
John
When have
Arnold.
you-
John Arnold.
when I told him at the convention that he's a legend among all of us, the person this account, I wasn't kidding.
No, we all went and found him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Satori and I are actually booked that weekend at Ohio State Reformatories Convention. So we will be at that one. But Penhurst Paracon, great friends with the people who run that. So definitely, check that one out as well. I know Satori's dad will be at Penhurst that weekend.
He will?
Yeah. Yep.
All right.
So,
I don't
And
know.
John, if I could, just from now on, keep your opinions to yourself, okay?
Share them with family.
all right. With an EMF detector, won't your other devices interfere with it?
You're the techno.
It all comes down to placement because, like, you want your EMF meters in the center of the room, away from walls and elevated off floors. So that's why we sweep and try to find wiring. But it's where you place everything. 6 feet from each other should be plenty, so there's not interference. At least 6 feet.
Yeah.
I mean, it also depends on what type of EMF that your detector is detecting as well.
Right.
Like if it's a natural EMF, your other meters aren't going to set that off.
If you're using a cell phone app or something like that, everything will go off as it searches for a signal, walkie-talkies, all the usual suspects. We all find out what interacts with everything, but it shouldn't if your layout is good.
That's a good one.
That's another question.
So real quick, we always say that we eat a lot of sugar and have a lot of energy drinks and junk food when we do sessions, and it does seem to work for us better, but I have no clue what our blood glucose level is.
It's very high.
Probably very high. I have no clue if that has to do, like, if there's a range that makes it better to do sessions, but if that there is, you might have actually just helped us have an epiphany moment that maybe that helps make things happen. So thank you for that. I will actually look into that.
Yeah.
Okay. Is there anything else we can answer before we get out of here?
He has one more question here.
Please.
When using a flashlight to communicate, your specific device you use are low power. So, I mean, we personally, Satori and I really don't use that method. So,
Does anybody else here does?
Corey.
I used to, but too many. I don't know. A lot of people have kind of, tested it, and so it's not really
better methods to use.
Yeah.
We've gotten some cool evidence with it.
No,
though.
don't
there
get
are
me
times
wrong.
when you can ask some pretty direct questions.
If you're gonna do it, just try to have multiple flashlights up there. Not saying there's no science to it whatsoever, but at least have multiple flashlights up there, and point at the one you want them to use, so you can kind of, validate something. But
Okay.
What do you think of apps?
I don't know.
Phone apps?
Yeah,
Yeah.
phone apps.
For like anything with a Bluetooth.
yeah, you just got to be careful with them because they
Kinda like
access your microphone, they access your where your location. So like
It's kind of like when you talk about something and then all of a sudden it's on Facebook through your advertisement. Like if you can find an app that doesn't require you to use Bluetooth or turn your microphone off, really, actually.
yeah, EchoVox is good about that.
If you can turn your microphone off, that's the best way to do it, because I do think it's one of those things where it uses your microphone and all of a sudden the things you're talking about start popping up.
I think Stathis uses EchoVox.
EchoVox is one of the few. I would rather use things that have their own dedicated circuit.
Yeah.
And not 5 apps loaded onto a phone because, I'm not Tesla, but I just don't know if those things feed off each other.
Right.
You know, because every time you load an app, they want access to 5 different other things on your phone. So I'd rather use a standalone, whatever. You know.
Yeah, definitely stay away from like the ghost cam apps and stuff like that. I mean, that stuff, a lot of that is, I mean, you shouldn't need an app to take a picture. So just take
Touche.
a picture. So
Mhm.
Go
a lot of
straight.
gimmicky. Yeah, a lot of that's gimmicky. All right. What is the most creepiest EVP you guys have had so far?
I don't know. We got
I mean, I mean, EVP is probably the most common piece of, I don't know,
I'm
data
trying to
or
think of the
evidence that we collect.
creepiest
So
though.
creepiest ones, I mean, of course, like the get outs are creepy. We've gotten that a couple times.
Growls are creepy.
Growls are creepy.
We investigated this place in California, and when my dad walked out of the room, there was an EVP that said something like, "I think they're gone." And
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
like,
That was
okay,
a jail in California we did. Yeah.
they're watching you. They know when you leave. They know what you're doing at all times. So I think that's kind of creepy.
Yeah. One that gives me chills all the time is the one that Ken got. I don't know if Ken. I think it was Ken's recorder, but the French one there. That one always gives me chills. It's not creepy, but it just gives me chills because you can hear the French accent. You know,
Yeah. I said thank you, but then I said it in front because we were in a place that French Canadian was. So I said merci beaucoup, and it responded back merci beaucoup. I mean,
with the accent, it was amazing.
With the accent, yeah. I don't. Every once in a while, you can get a good message with a creepy voice. You know, and you know, because you don't know what kind of effort that it takes to speak. You know, so it could be something labored and it comes across in a creepy voice, but the message is fine. The message is good. Yeah, I'll go with Cody on. I'm thinking is I don't know if we have ever been creepy, but there's been some that you know headphone throwers. You know when you're listening to it, you just like those, get over here. You got to hear this.
Oh yeah.
So you got a few of those.
Did Jen? Were you saying one?
Yeah, we were doing the Estes one time in the basement at the Conjuring House, and I was wearing a set of headphones, and before the music even, when was that? Were we not using music? It's when we used the mirror and we were doing scrying.
I'm talking about EVPs.
Oh, but
not spirit boxes.
No, spirit box can count.
It was just a voice in the headphone, but didn't come from where the sound of the music was coming from. It was almost like it was like a more of a whisper in my ear. It was different than what I was listening to coming from. It was a pull your headphones off.
During the live stream?
No, it wasn't during the live stream. We were doing who is that?
A black tinted like mirror around the well. I remember that. It jumped you enough where you took your headphones off and you're like, someone like messing with me, because we were just about to like start the session and it freaked you out pretty bad.
It was crazy. I forget what we were doing though. We were just with a group just hanging out. I can't remember what we were doing, but it was creepy. It was very creepy.
What do you remember what it said? Or
It said Heinzen.
Wow.
Okay.
Yeah, it was weird. I think it was the feeling it gave me that was the weirdest part, because it was so close and it wasn't coming from like the actual speaker of the headphone. It was so close I could hear it directly in my ear. It was super creepy.
Okay. Yeah, no, I wouldn't like that.
Don't.
I don't like that. Anybody else want to contribute?
I was going to say the one that came to mind for me, that's not even really my story, was the one that Cody had gotten just on his iPhone in the Conjuring House woods.
Oh my God. What did that one say? I remember that one, but I can't remember what it said.
Yeah, I still have it on my phone somewhere, I think.
Yeah, I remember that.
I don't remember.
I don't remember what
I
it
didn't
says.
like the woods. I was not a fan of the woods. You couldn't get me to go past the bridge unless like somebody was pressuring me a little bit to do it.
Maybe
But
just a little bit. I'd go across it during the day, but absolutely not at night.
Yeah.
But I also had a little soldier that would follow me to make sure I was safe. So I would never go there at night. You couldn't pay me enough.
I do it with somebody else. I just wouldn't do it alone.
yeah, somebody asked, do you think that what is ever in the woods of the Conjuring house is, more intense than what's in the basement? And I think the woods, in my opinion, was like, you can't really compare the two because it's just two very different things. Personally, I just wouldn't mess with what's ever in the woods.
I think the woods can also give you that creepy feeling that it's kind of like those people that don't dare to go into the house because of the things they've heard. The woods at night can give you that same exact, like, your mind is thinking it's the worst thing ever. So you just, for me, I think that
those are two places, though, Jen, that the woods and the basement already have a negative thing to them.
Right.
Those are probably, two of the assumed to be the creepiest places.
Right. Yeah. Although I think I'd go into the basement before I'd go into the woods alone in the dark.
Yeah, me too.
The middle bedroom was
something
where
about
it was
the
happening.
openness of the woods. I would just be like, no. At least if I'm in the basement, I know where to run.
Right.
Middle bedroom for you, Corey?
Oh God, yeah.
Yeah.
What is Aaron's question? How much EVP?
I think, like, where do you get a recorder, like a voice recorder? And anywhere. I mean, you can use any digital voice recorder to try recording an EVP.
Even voice memos on your phone is good quality. If you just want to start off with that before you start like investing in recorders.
Yeah, I mean, you don't have to buy an expensive one.
People still use analog.
You can get into really expensive.
I mean, there's a couple of things. I mean, don't put them on metal because you'll get a reverb, and if you have to hold them in your hand, do it with an open palm so you don't hit the microphone. As far as where you place them, I mean, it all depends. I mean, we sometimes we have a half a dozen recorders and we put them in different parts of the room, but you don't have to go through all that. So and buy a decent one. You don't have to spend $100 or, hey, $40-$50 for a decent one. If you can swing it, good enough.
Yeah. John Arnold.
What's your thoughts on the DR60 recorder? I've seen some reviews about the validity of the EVPs people catch on them because of the amount of white noise that always in the background. Any tips on good recorders? I think Ken and Corey are about to have a debate.
Uh-oh.
Here we go.
Here we go.
Think so? Was it Stevie Nicks question? What is that?
Uh-oh.
I'm going to throw it out there first. I wholeheartedly believe that you can get an EVP on any recorder. I've compared apples to oranges. I got a DR60 and I got a $10 recorder, and I'll catch something on the $10 recorder and not catch it on the DR60. So it's not the end all be all. I think they just got hyped up because you saw it on Ghost Adventures and a bunch of other TV shows. Don't get me wrong. Sometimes you do get good stuff on it.
It's the first recorder you always pull out, though.
No.
Yes.
No. The second part of his question, if you want to buy a good recorder, it's a Sony ICD B17. That is like, that's the money one for me. So
he's saying that to try driving down the prices of the DR60.
Yeah. The DR60, what I don't like about it is they were originally like $19.99 in the 80s. And like, I don't care. It doesn't matter. But it has all the things spec-wise you're not looking for on a recorder, a real low sampling rate. And this is why everything that comes out of it sounds like, because of the white noise and the garbling. And I'm just afraid of like audio matrixing when you hear those kind of things because they're not very clear. I'm not saying all the time, but a lot of the stuff that's presented to you on a show sounds blah, 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 blah. The other thing I don't like about them is that because, you know, the Constantinos, God rest their soul, they used it, and I know Amy uses it, and I know Bagans uses it, and they're out there on eBay for like some I've seen them as high as $3,000, maybe more. Because you gotta, and that's the other thing that I just, you know, now there are other people say because there's so much white noise that helps, you know, but Sony, and if you can get one with a metal cover, which will stop like outside frequencies and stuff, that's what you can go for. I use Sony's myself, you know, so I that's kind of what you're looking for. The rest of it gets into the weeds with sampling rates and all the rest of this, you know.
Yeah.
But anyway.
All right.
That
was a lot more civil than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, I really was hoping that there
I
was.
was hoping there was going to be a fight.
Here's a new one. What's that one place that just basically changed your life, except the Conjuring House?
Except that did change my life. That molded my life. That was character development for the plot that is my life. Was the Conjuring House.
Character
I don't know if truer words have ever been spoken for all of us.
It defined everything. It made me funnier. I can't.
It's tough to pick another place other than the place that you spend the most time at. You know what I mean? It's hard
the Spalding Inn, because I grew up there, and that was some of the first interactions I've ever had with spirits. At first, I didn't know anything about any of that stuff. Honestly, before I got into the field, I was a huge skeptic to everything. And that sounds really funny considering I hold someone's hands and make knocking noises and talk to dead people now. So it seems like I started here and went down here. But I was a skeptic. I think the Spalding Inn opened my eyes a little bit more, and then the Conjuring House blew the door open.
Yeah, I think other than the Conjuring House, the places that I've seen like apparitions, which has only been like 3 times. I mean, at the house I grew up in, definitely. That was the first time that I really saw apparitions, you know, multiple at the same time, whether that was sleep paralysis or not. That really got me interested in paranormal. You know what I mean? I wouldn't be looking for the paranormal if it wasn't for that house. And then the Westerly Library, I saw an apparition there that was solid as you or I, and it just walked into the elevator and go back on the security footage, and there's nobody there, but you see the elevator door open and close by itself, and you see me waving to nothing. The Thames Club in Norwich or New London, Connecticut, that was another one where you know, you see a person as solid as you or I, and you hear her answering, and there's nobody there. You know, you look at the camera, there's nobody sitting on the couch and having a one-on-one conversation with somebody that isn't there. So things like that definitely, you know, change your perspective and make you really realize that you know, this stuff is out there. And then besides what Satori and I do, it kind of takes it to a different level, and you kind of become numb to it after a while. It doesn't really change you anymore.
You also died.
Yeah. So yeah, that's
true.
Not true. But anybody else? Anybody have any experiences that really blew the door open?
I mean, you know, there wasn't a place. Well, all right, we'll stick with place, I guess. An old home in my hometown, Tiverton, had a widow's watching it, and that was the first time that I ever like heard a voice that shouldn't be there and stuff like that. So I'm like, okay, there's something to this. The second time was decades later with you guys. First time I saw your method at the Masonic Lodge. And I told you guys that once I answered all the questions, and, you know, it made a difference to me because, like I said, everything I'd been working in for years and years and years and years, all of a sudden suddenly made sense. It was all worth it.
Yeah.
You know, all the hours, all the criticism, all the bullshit you go through, where you're like, oh, you hunt ghosts, you idiot, you know. So that was the other thing when there was that direct communication. Meant a lot to me. So I've told you guys that.
Don't be all sappy. You have to admit that wasn't like, hey, let's be honest.
How
You-
dare you?
I thought you weren't with us. And then when it started to happen and your skeptical side came out and you wanted to analyze and see what was happening, you started walking and they walked away from you. Like they were, you hear them. They're like, get away from me. Like that was kind of the vibe I got when you were walking towards them. So it was kind of.
There is so much about that I don't know if you even want to go there, but I remember showing the video and immediately it's like, how come we can't see Cody and Satori? Well, because the camera is set up on the center of the room. Okay, not on I'd be more suspect if it was set on you because you were cut out, because we weren't filming you guys. I didn't know that thing existed. We were filming the center of the room. So when I put it out there, you only see like half of Cody's head because nobody moved the cameras. It's like, what the hell's going on here? Come on. What are you doing? What are you doing to me, guys? Let's go. Hey, don't make me come over there. And then when I started chasing these knocks around and, but that was a drop in the bucket since, some of the other things that happened. And we're not going to get into Friday because that was a private residence, but it was more. I mean, I'm already to the point to do them a favor and everybody. I give them an address, but I don't tell them who's going to be there. We don't know last names or, so we, believe it or not, and I know you probably won't believe it, we do take pains to kind of control things,
Yeah.
But that was amazing to me, and I always appreciated that about you guys because, you made it all worth it for me. Okay, enough sap. What's next?
Is there
All right.
one final question?
Well, I'm going to pick something about the house because I think that's something that all of us can kind of relate to. So here's one from Water Horse.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry.
I?
No, there's no eye, Cody. You need glasses.
Yeah. All right. Cody and Satori, I have a feeling about the Conjuring House. I feel like the Perron family brought something with them when they moved into the house, causing the gradual crescendo of activity. Your thoughts? I don't know.
I definitely think they promoted, like they didn't purposely promote things. I just think their energy altogether amplified.
Yeah, you don't want to make it sound like there's a negativity attached to it. Like, they were out, doing black magic when they lived in Cumberland. I don't think that's it.
Well, I think
I personally do believe that Carolyn, something to do with her though.
She had ability.
Not intentionally at all, but I just feel that Carolyn, maybe there was, I don't know. If I say attachment, then everybody's going to jump to it. And I don't mean anything necessarily negative. Maybe her belief in this stuff. Maybe she was more open to it, but she seemed to be the center of everything. And hey, listen, I never asked Andrea, did anything else happen at the other house? I don't know if you guys have, but before they moved there, I don't know.
I don't think they ever mentioned any. I mean, I never heard anything about the house in Cumberland. I mean, I know they had some issues, but it wasn't with spirits. It was with living neighbors in the neighborhood. Mm-hmm. That was kind of an issue. And I think going back to what we were talking about earlier, if the house matches energy, I mean, we used to tell people this on the tour. I mean, I didn't know this until I had met them, that their marriage was already very much in trouble before they walked into the house. So you walk into the house with the marriage already in trouble. You've got 5 daughters. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
There was a lot of tension, I think, in the house between Carolyn and Roger anyway. And then you've got 5 daughters in there. Maybe it's a matching energy situation or
I've always said that if someone came to me with this case right now, and I was doing an interview, a lot of times, you got to feel your way through it, but you start getting into the more personal questions about medications and family dynamics and is everybody getting along? You kind of read the room on that. and you ask it when it's appropriate. If I was taking this case right now, those would be red flags for me.
Mm-hmm.
As far as the potential, something in the family dynamic maybe not right, but
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah, I agree. Any thoughts, Corey and Jen?
I mean, Ken's right. I mean, everything that we do during the preliminaries, like our like intakes and stuff like that, like just asking questions like that. I mean, that would have been red flags. Like I personally, I don't even know if I would have approached the house, you know, with as many red flags would have been popping up, you know. But I mean, back then, I mean, you know, some of that stuff wasn't relevant. So,
Yeah.
Different frame of reference back then, right?
definitely.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think we covered most of the questions. We will do this again for anybody that we did miss. Are there any final thoughts to anything that you guys want to cover before we end the stream? Anything you want to say to the world?
No, other than thank you for including me. This was fun seeing you all. It's always good to see you all, especially for the holidays, you know, like Corey's hat.
You should have seen his helmet if you didn't see that earlier. The helmet's even better.
Corey's magic helmet. No, but thank you. It's good to see everybody. You know, nothing but the best to everybody. You guys are doing you know, like I said, what I'm thankful for is that you guys are coming out of this on the other side. I know it was a freaking journey for everybody. I know.
Absolutely.
And I also want to commend everybody for just, you know, you did the best possible. And I know no one knows this. You did the best you could to protect the home, the property, and the owner. You really did.
Tried. We tried.
Until there was a throwdown. And then at that point, you have the right to respond.
Right.
But up until then, what you did for her and the property, nothing short of amazing. So a lot of respect to you all for that.
Thank you. Thank you guys for coming on. Real quick before we drop everything and, you know, end the stream, I'm of course going to self-plug, and if anybody has anything to self-plug, feel free to do it. But I have coming up on Saturday is Small Business Saturday, and my Etsy shop is doing a discount code for jewelry for like a Black Friday small store, you know, Saturday. So definitely check out my Etsy. It's Handmade by Hawes on Etsy. I'm selling all sorts of things like this beautiful ginormous coral necklace on Aaron's wearing
Cauldron.
the jewelry, a cauldron. I have this ginormous fossilized coral necklace that I wore for the stream, as well as a bunch of other things currently up there. And there's going to be a couple more put up this weekend. So definitely check it out. Again, the links below, Handmade by Hawes. Thank you all so much. I appreciate it. And thank you, Aaron, for the plug. Thank you for everything. But other than that, is there anything else anybody wants to promote or anything like that?
I don't make anything, so.
No?
Me either.
I have no life.
Well, if you need crystals or crystal jewelry, Handmade by Hawes.
That's your girl.
But thank you, everybody.
We hope everyone has a good Thanksgiving to all those who celebrate it. And Satori and I will be uploading a new video next Tuesday. It's an investigation video, so stay tuned for that. And it has a funny vlog.
It does have a
too,
funny vlog.
so.
If anybody wants to see my dad in a vlog with us, and it just is a complete horror show of an activity we did together, check it out. There's some violence. Check it out.
Yes.
Okay? So check it out. But
Cool. All right. Well, talk soon, everyone. And if you have any other questions, leave them in the comments and somebody will answer them. And if you have a correct question directed to one of them, write their name and we'll ask them and see if we can get a response for you.
Also, I think there's a live show outro to this. We do not have a Patreon live show after this.
No,
so
I'm not gonna play
sorry.
that. I'm not
Okay,
gonna
if
play
it
that. I'm
does
just gonna
pull
end
up.
it.
Okay, all right. Thank you guys. Good night.
Bye.
Thanks.